viewers, welcome to my channel. I still remain your mathematics teacher, Mr. Dubisi Ephraim. Today we shall be looking at a very important topic in mathematics, which is angle. Angle is a very broad topic in mathematics that cuts across so many other areas of mathematics, talking of circuit theorem, talking of trigonometry and the likes. So it's a very broad topic, of which what we'll be looking at today are the basic aspects of angles that will give you a better knowledge of what an angle is all about. So our attention will be directed at those in JSS1, JSS2, and JSS3 categories. So you pay attention to this video, that will give you a better knowledge of what an angle is about. We'll be making a video, first video on angle, second video on angle, and third video on angle, in order for us to be able to cover so many areas that will give you a better knowledge of what an angle is all about. Please don't forget to click on subscribe button for you to be able to get free videos as they come online. All right, so let's get started with the definition of an angle. We say that a figure which is formed by two rays or lines that share a common endpoint is called an angle. An angle is measured in degree. So the unit of an angle is degree. That's why after making any calculation in angle, if it is 56, you say 56 degree. This is an indicator of what a degree is about. That's the 56 degree. That's how we put it. So we have various kinds of angles. Types of angles. The first one is right angle. Right angle is an angle that is exactly equal to 90 degrees. You can see the diagram here. Once it forms a square corner like this one, that's the vertical line and that of the horizontal. The both of them are perpendicular to each other. Then they are said to be what? To be right angle formed across the board. So what we have here is an indicator of a right angle, which is exactly equal to 90 degrees. Then the next one is acute angle. An acute angle is a reduced aspect of the right angle. You can see the line is now being compressed. You can see the wideness is now lower than that of this one. So we say that an acute angle is an angle that is less than 90 degrees. Give examples of an acute angle. 1 degree is an acute angle. 2 degrees is an acute angle. 10 degrees is an acute angle. 50 degrees is an acute angle. 60 degrees, even 79 degrees is an acute angle. 80 degrees is an acute angle. 89.9 degrees is an acute angle. In as much as that angle is less than 90 degrees. That means smaller than 90 degrees. So those angles are said to be what? Acute angle. Now we move to the number 3, which is obtuse angle. An obtuse angle is an angle greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. You can see angle 180 here. That's angle formed on a straight line. Angle formed on a straight line. Just look like a semicircle. That's the angle on a semicircle. The complete nature of angle on a semicircle is what? 180 degrees. That is exactly what we call angle on a straight line. So looking at obtuse angle. Obtuse angle is an angle that is greater than this 90 degrees, but not up to a straight line. That's why we say it is less than 180 degrees. And the angle will look like this. To look like this. You can see the wideness is bigger than that of 90 degrees. Okay, that means it should be greater than 90 degrees, but not up to a straight line. That means less than what? 180 degrees. Examples of obtuse angles: 91 degrees is an obtuse angle because 91 is greater than 90, but less than 180. 120 degrees is an obtuse angle because it is greater than what? 120 is greater than 90, but less than 180. All right, so you can see those are the examples of an obtuse angle. You can give as many examples as possible. Something like 150 degrees, 170 degrees, 179.9 degrees is also what? An obtuse angle. The most important is that it must be greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees for you to call it an obtuse angle. Now, number 4, angle on a straight line. Angle on a straight line. Whenever an angle is formed on a straight line, you can see a straight line like this. then the angle formed on this straight line will give us a semicircle. So angle formed on a semicircle is equal to 180 degree. So angle on a straight line is exactly equal to 180 degree. This is a perfect an indicator here. Once you draw a straight line, an angle is formed along that straight line. So those angles formed are said to be what? 180 degree. Then we talk about the reflex angle. Reflex angle, this time around, these are the angles. The angles greater than 180, but less than 360 degree. Remember that 360 degree is angle in a complete circle. You can see the complete circle here. So angle formed on a complete circle is what? 360 degree. Because looking at this one that's formed on a straight line, it gives us a semicircle like this. If I draw another semicircle below, that will give me a perfect circle. That means I have 180 here. I equally have another 180 here. And 180 plus 180 will give us what? 360 degree. So angle at a point is 360 degrees. So now coming back to our definition of a reflex angle. Reflex angle, we say these are angles greater than 180. That means it is bigger than this 180 here. That's why you have it stretched. You can see the wideness is more than that of a semicircle here. All right, so it is greater than 180. That means bigger than the straight line, but not up to 360. You can see the space that is making it incomplete to become a circle here. So it is greater than 180, but not up to a complete circle, which is 360 degrees. That's why we say that reflex angles are angles greater than 180 degree, but less than 360 degree. Examples of reflex angle include 181 degree is a reflex angle. Why? Because 181 degree is greater than 180 but less than 360. 200 degree is a reflex angle because it's greater than 180 but less than what? 360. 270 degree is a reflex angle because it is greater than 180 but less than what? 360. Now my question is, what about 359 degree? Is it a reflex angle or not? I know somebody may have gotten the answer. It is a reflex angle because 359 degree is greater than 180 but not up to 360. Therefore, it is called what? A reflex angle. Now I'm talking about number 6, angle at a point. Angle at a point is angle formed on a complete circle. When you start from this end of the line, the beginning of the line here, and come back to that same point again, that means you have made a complete circle. So angle at a point is said to be equal to what? 360 degree exactly. So these are some of the various types of angles that we have. Before we begin calculation on angles, let's look at some other types of angles. We have what we call the complementary angles. Complementary angles, we say that these are two angles that add up to 90 degree. That add up to 90 degree or that sum up to 90 degree. When you have two angles that sum up to 90 degree, the two angles are said to be what? Complementary angles. Sometimes they may ask you a question, what is the complement of 50 degree? The complement of 50 degree is 40 degree, because when you say 50 plus 40, that will give you 90 degree. So therefore, these two angles are said to be what? Complementary angles, because they add up to 90 degree. Likewise, this one, 35 degree plus 55 degree, that will still give us 90 degree. So when two angles are added up to give 90 degree, those two angles are said to be what? Complementary to one another. For example, you have something like this. Remember this diagram, this is an indicator of what? Right angle. That's the right angle is angle that is equal to what? 90 degree. If someone should draw up a line like this, give you let's say 60 degree here, and ask you to find x. So what they ask you to find here is the complement of this 60 degree, because the entire angle here is 90 degree. So what will make it to be up to 90 degree will be what? 30 degree here. So 30 plus 60 will give us what? 90 degree. That will make it a complementary angle. Now I'm talking about supplementary angles. Supplementary angles, we say these are two angles that sum up to 180 degree. You can see the difference between the two. Complementary angle has to, they add up to what? 90 degree, while supplementary angles add up to 180 degree. For example, you have 120 degree plus 60 degree. What will it give us? That will give us 180 degree. So therefore, 120 degree and 60 degree are said to be what? Supplementary angles, because they add up to 180 degree. For example, you are being given a question like this. Let's say you have here 120 degree and you're asked to find y. So remember, this is an angle on a straight line, and we know that angle that is formed on a straight line is equal to 180 degrees. So therefore, getting the supplementary angle of this will not be the number you add to this 120 to make it what? 180 degree, and that number is what? 60 degree. So because 120 plus 60 degree will give us 180 degree, that makes it what we call the supplementary angle. I hope this is quite clear. All right, so let's get into the calculations. Yeah, let's take some examples. We have to do some calculations now. But before we get started, we need to get familiar with some important aspect of the calculation. You need to get familiar with these symbols here. Now, looking at this one, this is an indicator of what? Can you still remember this? This is an indicator of right angle. And we know that right angle is equal to what? 90 degrees. So whenever you see something of this nature, you know that every angle there will sum up to 90 degrees. For example, you have, let's say you have A here, you have B here. So the angle is cut across A and B. So for you to calculate, you have to say A plus B is equal to 90 degrees. Why do we say equal to 90 degrees? Because this is angle 90 degrees. I hope that is quite clear. So this is an indicator of 90 degrees. As we have shown in our examples there, different types of angles. If you check the different types of angle, you can go back to the video. You see different types of angles. You see that we have something of this nature called what? The right angle. And right angle is equal to what? 90 degrees. So whenever you see this kind of diagram, just know that every angle there will be adding up to what? 90 degrees. So whenever you see any angle lying on the straight line, we call it angle on a straight line. They may draw up lines like this. So once you see that those angles are lined up along a straight line, that's what we call angle on a straight line. An angle on a straight line is equal to 180 degree. Even if you have angle A, B, C here, what it means that A plus B plus C will add up to what? 180 degree. So that's what it means. So you have to get familiar with these diagrams so that the calculations will be quite easier for us. Then looking at this one, this is one we call angle at a point. You can see it makes a complete circle here. Meaning that if I should call this, the entire space here C, call this place B, so that means the rotation here C, then this one that completes the circle B. So that will not mean that C plus B will be equal to 360 degree, because some of angles at a point, that's angle at a point, angle that makes a complete circle is equal to what? 360 degree. I hope this is quite clear. These are some of the important indicators that will help us to be able to get the answers correctly. Now let's take some examples. Here are some of the examples. The question says, find the value of the unknown angles below. You can see the first one. Can you still remember the indicator I gave you? Solutions. Can you still remember this indicator when you have something like this? What is the type of angle? That is exactly angle 90 degree, and the name is right angle. And that's exactly how this one look like. That's exactly how this one look like. That is to say, if we're calculating, we're finding the unknown angle here, we have to add up everything we have here to be equal to 90 degree, because this is angle 90 degree. So now to solve number one, we have to add everything that we have here. That is to say 48 degree plus x degree is equal to what? What type of angle is this? That is right angle. So therefore, everything that we have here will be summed up to what? 90 degree. And why do we say equal to 90 degree? We say equal to 90 degree because it is what? A right angle. So I can give my reason by saying right angle. Okay, let me write it in full. for the sake of those in the junior category. They may not know the meaning of that symbol. Right angle. Okay? And the reason why we say equal to 90 degrees because it is a right angle. So now we can solve it like an algebra. That is to say we have to collect like terms. That is to say this one moving to the other side. We now have it as x is equal to 90 degree. Then 48 going over to the other side become minus 48 degree. So what will be the answer to the question? So 90 degree minus 48 degree, that will give us 42 degree as our answer. Wow, I hope this is quite clear. So the answer to number 1 is what? 42 degree. 90 degree minus 48 degree will give us 90 degree. 90 minus 48, that will give us 42 degree. Now going to number 2. I hope this is quite clear. Going to number 2. Question number 2. Still right angle. So that is to say we have to sum up everything that we have here and equal it towards 90 degree because this is angle 90, right angle. So to solve this, that would then be 3x degree plus 2x degree is equal to 90 degree. What is our reason? Because it is a right angle. What is the right angle? That's why we call it, we say equal to 90 degrees. I hope this is clear. All right, so we can now add up to this. 3x plus 2x will give us what? 5x equal to 90 degrees. So divide both sides by the coefficient. That will then be x is equal to 90 divided by 5. 90 divided by 5. What do we have there? 90 divided by 5. Let's get it down. 90 divided by 5. 5 into this will give us 1 remainder 4. Good. Then 5 into 40 will give us 8. So therefore, the value of x will be 18 degree. And that is the answer to the question. 18 degree. I hope this is quite clear. That is exactly how to solve the one that has to do with right angle. So whenever you see the diagram like this, it means that we're talking about right angle. So everything in it will be adding up towards 90 degree. So if we add this, if we substitute the value of x here, say 3 times 18 plus 2 times 18, when you add them together, they will give us 90 degree as the answer. Now let's get to the next question. That's question number 3. Question number 3. Question number 3 is an example of angle on a straight line. Remember, we said that angle on a straight line is equal to 180 degrees, just like your protractor inside your math set. When you check the protractor, it measures from 0 up until 180. That is to say, any angle formed on a straight line will add up to 180 degree. Now, to solve this question, we already know that this angle 180. All we need to do is to add up everything that we have here. That is y plus 135 is equal to 180 degree. What is our reason? That's angle on a straight line. I'm using an abbreviation here. This one is an indicator of an angle. Angle on a straight line. So to solve this, we have to solve it like an algebra by collecting like term. Then y will now be equal to 180 minus 135. So 180 minus 135 will give us, that should be 45 degree. And that becomes the answer to the question. I hope this is quite clear. Just get familiar with some of the diagrams that we have taken already so that you'll be able to get the answers correctly. Let's take some other examples, few examples. Now let's take few other examples. Then number 4, you can see that this is still angle on a straight line. And we said that angle on a straight line is equal to 180 degrees. So we have to add everything here and say equal to 180 degrees. Why do we say equal to 180 degrees? Because it is angle on a straight line. An angle on a straight line is equal to 180 degrees, like I've shown before. I believe you can try this. Give it a try in your rough book and see whether if you can get it. Pause the video and try it. Please don't forget to click on the subscribe button so that you'll be able to get the subsequent videos, because in our next class, we shall be talking about angles on parallel lines. That is vertically opposite angle, alternate angle, and the corresponding angles. Very, very important topic. All right, still on angle. Now, talking about this, we have to add everything. That will now be 2x plus 2x plus 5x equal to 180 degree. Why do we say equal to 180 degree? Because this is angle on a straight line. So 2x plus 2x plus 5x, that will give us 9x equal to 180 degree. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's adjust the video a little bit so that you can see the writings clearly. That is 2x plus 5x plus 2x equal to 180. Seems that something is blocking it from there. Okay, so I think it's more clearer now. So that will give us 9x is equal to 180 degree. So we now divide both sides by the coefficients of x. The coefficients of x here is 9, so we have to divide by 9. 180 divided by 9. So x will be equal to 9 divided 18 will give us 2. Because 2 times 9 is 18. So 9 divides 0 will give us 0. So therefore the answer is 20 degree. That is the answer to the question. If you want to give it a try to know whether if all of them will add up to 180 degree, when we have x as 20, 2 times 20, that will give you 40 here. Then we have 20, that will be 100 here. Because 5 times 20 will be 100. This one will still be 40. So that when you say 100 plus 40 plus 40, that will give us 180 degree. That will show that your answer is correct. All right, so let's get to the next question. What type of angle is this? This is angle at a point. Angle that makes a complete circle. And we say that angle at a point is equal to 360 degree. That is to say, when we add everything that we have here, all we add up to 360 degrees. So that will now be 2x plus 189 plus 77 all equal to what? 360 degree. You know our reason? Remember, this one is angle on a straight line. This one, the reason is angle at a point, which is equal to what? 360 degree. So now collecting like time, we have 2x 189 plus 77 will give us 266 equal to 360 degree. Then collecting like time further, that will give us 2x is equal to 360. Then 266 moving to the other side become minus 266. So that gives us 2x is equal to 360 minus 266 will give us 94. Then what we do next, we divide both sides by the coefficients of x, and the coefficients of x is 2. So x will now be equal to 94 over 2. So 2 divided this will give us that will give us 4. Remember, 1 put in here divides 14, that will give us 7. So the answer is 47 degree to this question. So I believe this is quite clear. Hope this is quite easy for you to do. Maybe you can play the video again and watch it once more to be able to understand it. Now, in this video, we shall be talking about angles on parallel lines, which is angles, that's a vertically opposite angle, corresponding angle, and alternate angles. Click subscribe so that you'll be able to get the video as they come. Thank you and have a blessed day ahead.